শুভ সন্ধ্যা, সবাইকে আমন্ত্রণ জানাচ্ছি আজকের আলাপচারিতায়। বিষয় হিসেবে আমরা বেছে নিয়েছি আজকে মে 2022 সালের কাউন্সিল নির্বাচনকে, এবং আমরা বরাবরই টাউন হ্যামলেটস, যেটা বাঙালি অধ্যুষিত এলাকা বলে পরিচিত, সেই টাউন হ্যামলেটস কাউন্সিলের নির্বাচনকে চোখ রাখি, এবং টাউন হ্যামলেটস কাউন্সিলের নির্বাচন নিয়ে যুক্তিতর্ক চলতেই থাকে বাঙালি কমিউনিটির মধ্যে, এবং এবারেও তার ব্যত্যয় নয়। এবং আজকে আমাদের অনুষ্ঠানে আমরা টাউন হ্যামলেটস কাউন্সিল নির্বাচন, পাশাপাশি মেয়র নির্বাচন নিয়ে, এক্সিকিউটিভ মেয়র নির্বাচন নিয়ে কথা বলবো। এবং সে ব্যাপারে কথা বলবার জন্য অবশ্যই আজকের প্যানেলে শুধুমাত্র রাজনীতিবিদরাই রয়েছেন। তবে দর্শক, আপনারা সরাসরি প্রশ্নের মাধ্যমে অনুষ্ঠানে অংশগ্রহণ করতে পারেন। আপনাদের টেলিভিশন স্ক্রিনে যে নাম্বারটি দেখতে পাবেন সেই নাম্বারে টেলিফোন করে, অথবা ফেসবুক লাইভেও আমাদের এই অনুষ্ঠান এটিএন বাংলা ইউকের পর্দায় দেখতে পাবেন। তো যেভাবেই হোক, আশা করি অনুষ্ঠানে অংশ নিচ্ছেন এবং আমাদের সঙ্গেই থাকছেন। আমাদের প্যানেল মেম্বারদের সঙ্গে পরিচয় করিয়ে দিয়ে শুরু করব আলোচনা, যুক্তিতর্ক এবং বিতর্ক। শুরু করছি ডান দিক থেকে। রয়েছেন জনাব ওহিদ আহমেদ, ফর্মার কাউন্সিলর এবং ডেপুটি মেয়র ফর লন্ডন বরো অফ টাউন হ্যামলেটস, এবং বর্তমানে অ্যাসপায়ার পার্টির কাউন্সিলর পদপ্রার্থী। ধন্যবাদ ওহিদ ভাই, এন্ড ওয়েলকাম টু দ্য শো।
ধন্যবাদ, এবং আপনাকে এবং যারা দেখছেন আজকে আপনাদের কলা কৌশল এবং যারা দর্শক রয়েছেন সকলকে ধন্যবাদ এবং আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
থ্যাংক ইউ। এবং টু মাই লেফট ইজ কাউন্সিলর রেচেল ব্লেক ফর লেবার পার্টি ফর লন্ডন বরো অফ টাউন হ্যামলেটস, and I'm sure you're also a councillor candidate.
Sure, I'm a council candidate in the ward of Bow East, and I'm currently the deputy mayor, and I'm the lead member for adults, health and wellbeing. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming to the show, and obviously very important portfolio you're holding currently. And to my extreme left is Michael Robinson, executive member for Lib Dem Town Hamlets, and he's also a councillor candidate for Whitechapel.
Yes.
And welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so without further delay, I'll start with Aspire candidate. Ohid Ahmed, my first question would be to you. I mean, how do you see the future of Aspire party in Town Hamlet, that being a new party? The party's credibility is very, very new. To some extent, party's credibility is challenged, as a leader of this party has been convicted within the civil court, and we have been hearing lots of pros and cons about the party leader Lutfur Rahman coming back to politics. At the same time, we have been hearing that there is issue of conspiracy has also come out. But how do you see the challenge of this new party, where three quite strong parties are already established in Town Hamlets? What are the challenges you see as a new party?
Thank you for this question. I can see where you're coming from. This is nothing new in Town Hamlets politics. Conspiracy, injustice, it's part of our life, everyday life. We face this every day. I was councillor here 3 times from the Labour Party. I saw this injustice. Lutfur Rahman was Labour Party leader in this council. He was a male candidate. He was selected by the members. So injustice, if you look at the injustice, it's actually it starts from Town Hamlets Labour Party. So I don't want to go into past, but Lutfur Rahman was a Labour man. He was a Labour leader. He was a Labour selected
Let me bring you back, Ahad Bhai, sorry, because we don't have much time. You literally have, this segment is for your, three of you.
So yeah, that is, you talked about challenges and how you see ourselves in what are we going to do in future. So I was coming into it. You have Labour, yes, and Aspire. There are 2 horse race. You can name all other parties, but obviously in equation, you go and speak to people, it's a 2 horse race between Don Bix and Lutfur Rahman. Lutfur Rahman was elected twice independently by the people of Town Hamlets.
My question, Ohid Bhai, was how do you feel that you would actually be able to face or address the challenges, your leader being his dignity being in terms of civil convictions, and he's coming back as bringing a new party? How would the people of Town Hamlets
For your information, this party was created last year when I was a mayoral candidate in
So
Town
this
Hamlets.
party is only a year old.
Not year old. During last election in 2000, when I was a mayoral candidate in 2018, the party was formed. Since then, party is active, campaigning. There is no issue at all. So in terms of party formation,
How many members do you have?
I can't tell you the number. It's a party official, chair and secretary can tell you. I'm not party official.
Roughly,
but
is
I'm
this a big membership? Are you seeing people of Town Hamlets coming, forthcoming with, they want to be member of Aspire
We
Party?
have a quite good number of members. We don't need a massive membership. We have a good number of members. This is why we have candidates in every ward. So we have a very strong ground team working with the ground. There is no issue at all. In terms of Luthra, you just keep on mentioning about him.
So he's the leader of the party.
Yeah, you need to give me time to answer this question, because it's a quite serious questions or alleged sort of.
No, it's not alleged.
Yeah,
he has been convicted.
He was been
civil
convicted
court.
by the election court.
Civil court.
It's election court. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not civil.
That's a civil. That's a civil matter.
Yeah, it's an election court. Yeah. He was found guilty by the part-time judge. This case was obviously the same sort of law used 200 years ago. So some people came up with a petition. Judge found some people credible and some people not credible. He made a decision on the basis of people's statement. On the other hand,
the answer.
You ask about the credibility of individual.
Yeah.
You need to give me time to answer this question.
Yeah, but you don't have much time, so you need to come to the point straight.
So
do you believe his credibility is going to be an effect to the Aspire Party? Is it going to either affect or not affect?
Not at all. What it is, it's one hand you have an election court found him guilty for election mismanagement or whatever. On the other hand, you see, I was counsel at that time. Scotland Yard, CPS, Metropolitan Police, the politically influenced Metropolitan Police spent £1.3 million. Yet they came back and said, look, we could not find anything. I was councillor when Deputy Commissioner came in Town Hall. One of the councillor, he was nagging every single day, and he said, I cannot make evidence for you. There is no evidence of criminality.
Okay, I'll come back to you, because there are lots of other things to ask. Councillor Rachel Blake from Labour Party. So, obviously, world is facing a significant challenge in terms of food crisis, in terms of the Ukraine war, post-Brexit, post-COVID, and we are seeing councils getting less and less money from the central government. You have already wasted £29 million for livable roads, or creating livable area for the residents of Town Hamlets, which then you have to withdraw. So am I right in saying Labour Party has actually wasted £29 million because you did not listen to your people, you did not do any consultation, when you are then increasing the council tax, increasing charges, bringing in charges for adult care? You are responsible, holding the adult portfolio. You are increasing charges for adult care, and then at the same time you're wasting money for nothing.
So, Urmee, thank you for having me and giving us, the Labour Party, this chance to talk this evening. The Labour Party was founded in this area, in the East End, and it was founded on challenging injustice. And we're a party of social justice. We're a party of uniting people, uniting workers, people from the whole community together in order to make sure that people get a fair chance in life. And that's something that this administration is completely committed to. As you say, we face really significant challenges: the cost of living crisis, the fuel costs that are going up, the fact that the number of food banks is growing in this borough, and I think that's a complete scandal that food banks are growing. The number of food banks are growing in this borough, and so what this administration has chosen to do, we're investing in council homes, we're protecting free school meals. 19,000 children are having free school meals, and we're protecting that. That is a choice that we make. We're protecting our council. Can I just Labour's sake, we're protecting our council tax reduction scheme, so that if you need support, it's something that this Conservative government has taken away from local authorities. So if you need support, you can have and if you need that support, there is 100% council tax reduction scheme is still available from this council, and it's one of very few councils that does that. That's because it's only Labour that is on the side of the community, protecting the council tax reduction scheme, free school meals, bringing forward council homes, and keeping people safe throughout the pandemic, as you were saying, making sure that there's the testing. We've worked hard to get the testing out into the community. We've been having the clinics, the vaccine clinics. We've had them in mosques, in community centres. We've had the testing arrangements set up across the whole borough to keep the community safe, because it's Labour that's going to be on the side of the community, and that's always been in our roots and always one of our huge passions. Okay, and can I just finish by saying this Conservative government has reduced the amount of money that we have to spend on, and we have made reducing inequalities our primary, like a core objective of ours. We've had a Black, Asian and ethnic minority inequality report that's come forward with an action plan to make sure that we're getting all the right information out about how people can stay safe, and to make sure that we're supporting people into jobs and into work, and that's how we will end inequality and reduce.
Okay, I can clearly see, Rachel, you have tactfully avoided my question about wasting 29 million on livable streets. Yeah, and so
that's not what we've done. By livable streets, we're there to help the community and to help the community.
How? Because I have seen, in Town Hamlets' website where London Ambulance have written to the council saying this livable street is actually putting the lives of the residents at risk, because through all these barriers and one-way streets, this and that, this livable space has actually made ambulance can't go through, refuse collection can't go through. So people are ending living their waste on the streets.
We've listened really carefully.
You didn't, because if you did, then you wouldn't have brought this into
you wouldn't have lost the Weavers by-election if you had done it correctly.
I'm here to talk about what we're doing, what Labour's doing, and our vision for the future, and bringing the community together in Tower Hamlets, and that's what we want to do.
Do you want people to forget the track record?
We've been listening to people.
But you've introduced it, and then because obviously you didn't listen to the people, you now have to withdraw, take it out.
So we've got proposals to improve air quality, to improve how our streets look, and to make it safer and easier.
But why the reverse ferret?
Easier for people to walk and cycle, and I think that is something that matters to the whole.
Thank
community.
you, Rachel. Michael, so what is Lib Dem going to do? Because this is not. It doesn't look like that Lib Dem is a party of choice for people.
Okay, so I would like to come back to the earlier point made that in Tower Hamlets there's only two parties. There's Labour and there's Aspire. So in 2018, when you stood as mayor, you were representing Aspire, and there was a Labour mayor candidate. What rank did you come in that election?
This is not about rank. What's the total?
Did you come in second place?
It's irrelevant. What's the total?
So if it's a two-horse race in Tower Hamlets,
what is the percentage?
Did you come in second place?
No, it's forget the history of 2018.
Okay, but so in 2018,
created it, institute created it, and we were a unified team, independent. We were 18 councillor. It's all history now. We are in a new, and we share for your information.
Do you see Lib Dem as a challenge?
No.
Okay.
For your information,
let
we shared
okay,
16% vote, and your party shared only 6% vote. That's the story. Forget about second and third. The total vote sharing was 16
how
and
Lib
6.
Lib Dem is going to stand in this election?
How is it going to stand? Well, do
you believe that people of Town Hamlets have an appetite for Lib Dem?
I know for a fact, because I'm out on the doorstep every night, that the people of Tower Hamlets have an appetite for change. I know for a fact that Aspire is doing a very good job of trying to capitalize on that. They've gathered together, there's only one person. He has gathered together a relatively weak team this time. The support is really a personal vote. But there is absolutely an appetite for change. I talk every night with lifelong Labour voters that said, this is, we need a change. This issue of the livable streets, It's just one of many reversals. Like, for example, the St. George's Pool, where the...
I'm not heckling, but it's just, do you know that you had only 50 votes in your heartland in Uivas? Uivas used to be...
Thank you,
Liberal,
Harpai. I'll
and you had 50 votes this
I
time.
have to finish, Michael. Yeah.
So, to everybody's, well, maybe to the point, yes. The Liberal Democrats, many years ago, the Liberal Democrats ran the council. They had a majority on the council. Many years have passed. For the past 30 years, the Labour Party has
Michael,
dominated.
I have to stop you because you're staying with us. Rachel and Ohid Bhai will leave. So literally 30 seconds, Rachel. Obviously, you'll have more councillors coming in.
Sure. I just want to say it's Labour that's investing in Tower Hamlets. I think what we've heard from the other two parties here, they've offered nothing in terms of what their plans are. Labour's investing. Labour has invested, and Labour
Thank
has
you,
a vision
Rachel.
for bringing the community
Oh,
together.
Thank you.
And it's very different to what the Lib Dems and what
we have a
Aspire
track
said so
record.
far.
When Luther was mayor, we delivered education and maintenance allowance. We delivered university bursaries. We frozen council tax for 7 years. Even the time was very, very bad. We
Who
had
is we?
austerity.
Defending the
Austerity.
record, the
Let me finish.
Lib Dems-
Austerity, and we had to find nearly 50 million pound worth of savings. Yet Lutheran was able to invest rather than cut. John Biggs is a symbol of cut service, cut.
Thank you, Ohid Bhai.
And obviously he doesn't have any
Thank you.
drive. So we need somebody
Thank you.
who is resilient, who is able
Thank you.
able to work for our people, and Luthroman is the man.
I'm sure,
I think this is well.
Viewers, we
I
will
want to say.
continue our debate because we will have new guests from the three parties coming in and joining us, but Michael will stay with us. So we will be back after a short break. Stay with us. শুভ সন্ধ্যা। যারা এইমাত্র আজকের আলাপচারিতার সঙ্গে যোগ দিলেন তাদের জন্য জানিয়ে দিচ্ছি আজকের বিষয় কাউন্সিল নির্বাচন 2022। তবে আজকে আমরা যথারীতি টাওয়ার হ্যামলেটস কাউন্সিল নির্বাচন নিয়ে আলোচনা করছি, কারণ বাঙালি অধ্যুষিত টাওয়ার হ্যামলেটস নির্বাচন নিয়ে বরাবরই আমাদের উৎসাহ উদ্দীপনা বেশি থাকে, এবং সেই প্রসঙ্গে কথা বলবার জন্য এই পর্বে আরো 3 জন রাজনীতিবিদ আমাদের সঙ্গে যোগ দিয়েছেন। প্রথম পর্ব থেকে রয়েছেন already we have got Michael Robinson. He is representing Liberal Democrat Party and also a councillor candidate. To my right is Kabir Hussain. He is a councillor candidate for Aspire Party. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And to my left has joined to this segment is Councillor Asma Begum for Labour Party and Statutory Deputy Mayor. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. I'll start with Kabir Hussain. You're a young politician, obviously, and surely we would welcome young Bangladeshi British coming to the politics. Do you believe in leadership being a process where role modeling is a vital point,
Yes.
where the leader has to have that aspiration, that dignity, that honesty, that the whole point of the followers following the leader? Do you feel confident that your party is giving you that leadership?
Yes. First of all, thank you. Thank you to you and your listener for inviting me here tonight. I'm quite young. I'm 35 years old.
Still young, very young.
Okay. I'm standing from Spiritual Bangladesh ward with me, Councillor Suluk Ahmed. He was a former councillor. Sorry, my tone is speaking
That's
low
fine.
because I go,
And thank you for joining us. I mean, obviously you said that you've got a bit of a cold here.
Yes, the leadership comes from leader. So who we can follow as a mentor, who we can follow as a role model. I think you heard about Ken Livingstone, and I follow him a lot. And Lutfur Rahman, he was the former mayor of the Hamlets. I followed him a lot.
And I know that, but my question was literally simple. Do you believe your party, Aspire Party, is capable of giving you that leadership?
Yes, why not? And we have a track record. If you see last 2010 to 2015, we had so much for the council. We delivered most homes in the out of the country. I think within the
But
London.
then, am I right to say that yes, you have delivered? That's what you're claiming. But then your party or your leader was thrown out.
It was a stitch up. We did not accept this report. It was a commissioner report. I can say we cannot ignore to CPS. We cannot ignore to Scotland Yard. We cannot ignore to Met Police report. What they're saying, there is no wrongdoing.
Okay.
There is no criminality. So are you accepting the other report, or you are ignoring the CPS, Scotland Yard and police?
Okay, thank you. Councillor Asma, you are holding portfolio of children's
Yeah.
housing
No, children's
and youth service. Okay. So what exactly is education?
and education.
So how is Town Hamlets doing in terms of education performance? I mean, I was reading one of the neighbouring boroughs' education report, and they have sent 55 young people to Cambridge and Oxford. How many has Town Hamlets managed to send?
So thank you very much for inviting me here. And I do hold a bigger brief than that. I hold children's, youth service, equalities and education
Oh,
as
that's
well.
even better. Okay.
So it's a very wide brief, but also I've held previous briefs prior to that. So our young people in particular are doing very, very well. They are always achieving over the national average, which is absolutely fantastic. Majority of our schools, over 90% of our schools are either outstanding or good. They're going through their Ofsted right now as well, and all of them have retained their either outstanding or good status. So our schools are absolutely fantastic at what they do around teaching our young people and also filling the gap. So let me quickly talk a little bit about COVID and the impact COVID has had on a lot of our young people as well.
Answer my question first.
So-
How many people, because obviously education to some extent is measured by achievement. So how many people, how many students are going to Oxford, Cambridge, universities like that, high-rated?
So there are many of our young people
So
that
do
are
we-
that
do
are
you have the
going.
figure?
I don't have the figures at hand, but there are many of our young people that have been going to Oxford and Cambridge, and absolutely, it's something that we aspire to.
So
but
the
it's
allegation brought by Aspire Party that Tower Hamlets sixth form students are now attending Newham sixth form, and because they're getting much more aspiration in that particular borough, and they are high achievers, so that is actually increasing Newham's number of young people who are going to Oxford and Cambridge because they do not want to attend sixth form colleges in Tower Hamlets. Is that true?
That's absolutely not true. All of our young people, majority of our young people, stick to the local schools. As I've mentioned, they are outstanding schools. They're outstanding or good, and they're retaining all of that whilst we're going through Ofsted right now. So we are achieving, and our young people are achieving to the full potential. Is there more that can be done? Absolutely. This is one of the reasons why we do work effectively with our schools. We have a partnership with our schools.
At the same time, Tower Hamlets is, more or less, Tower Hamlets is coming to news for youth violence on a regular basis. We have seen young people killing another young people at the doorstep in front of the mother. This is Tower Hamlets. Tower Hamlets still bearing the legacy of two young girls joining ISIS. Your children's services have failed.
So let me be very, very clear. A lot of our young people, majority of our young people, are absolutely brilliant, outstanding citizens. It's a small minority of young people that we're talking about. And then when I speak about young people, a lot of our serious violence was not young people. We really need to be very clear in the language that we use when we talk about young people, because a 20-year-old is not a young person. A 24-year-old is not a young person. And yes, there is youth violence, but they are not young people. So we cannot use politics, especially in this, because young people, majority of them are very well behaved. They're achieving their full potential. They are going to school, getting fantastic grades, going into employment, and by marginalising them in a broader way and saying all young people,
so
I think it's absolutely
by cutting all the services.
Are you saying,
wrong to say a 24-year-old is a young person? They are not a young person.
Tower Hamlets is not facing the challenge of youth violence, contextual safeguarding. You hold the portfolio for children's services. Are you saying that you are not facing contextual safeguarding as a significant challenge in Tower Hamlets?
Every borough is facing this.
Okay, so
every borough is facing these challenges.
What's your plan to address it? What's your plan to address it when you have got reduced youth centres, when you have got reduced policing on the street? Because these are the two most deterrent factors for contextual safeguarding.
Okay.
How are you going to address it?
So let's address the youth provision. Another a base of lies that has been going around. Youth provision. We inherited a really fragmented youth provision. No youth provision for young girls. Are we trying to say that in Tower Hamlets there are no young girls in Tower Hamlets that want to use youth provision? That's the first thing that you would notice within our youth provision as well. So we have, we inherited this. So we have looked at our youth provision.
So you inherited from
we have invested in our youth provision. So we've looked at what young people want. So it's really important. It's really important that we talk to young people and deliver youth provision for our young people. We are still one of the top funders for our youth provision.
What have you provided to the youth?
We still fund, we're a substantial funder for our youth provision. We have the detached offer as well as the youth hub. So we've moved away from the model of just having centres for young people.
Okay.
Centres are not useful for all of our young people. It's about the detached youth offer as well.
Let me come to you, Michael.
My understanding is that
Michael, my question again to you: how you're going to keep the young people and the children of Tower Hamlets safe from contextual safeguarding, as well as what's your vision, party vision, for improving the education provision for children of Tower Hamlets?
Okay, so the investment in youth, as I understand it, is a 50% cut from the level of provision, the level of investment in the previous administration. So that's a very strange form of investment. The investment in exactly what you said is the community policing and youth services are the core to reducing ASB, to making sure that people, that our young people stay on track to success in starting their career, to going to a good university. I would want to challenge that Oxford and Cambridge should be the sole metric for quality
It's
of
just one of them.
university. This is one of them, but I don't think you should say, well, 23 people went to Oxbridge, and therefore, I think you need to look at the broader set of outcomes. So I'm sure Asma is familiar with in the 15 to 19 cohort. Every year, there's about how many people in Tower Hamlets at age 15, at age 16, age 17. Do you have an idea?
No, I don't have those figures.
Okay, it's a bit north of 3,000. So every year in Tower Hamlets, we have about 3,000 plus 15, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds. So from 20 to 24, it doubles.
So what's your plan?
Where does it come from? It's people coming to Tower Hamlets for university. And then for 25 to 29, it goes again 3 times. So it goes from 3,000 up to 9,000.
Michael, thank you for
They're
this
coming for
data.
they're coming for opportunity. Now I go out on the doorstep and I talk to the local residents who were born here, who grew up here. They're desperate for jobs. They're desperate for opportunities. They're working hard to get into whatever schools they can get into. They want a career. But all around, the jobs and the good opportunities and the good housings are going to people who are immigrating
Michael,
into
I think you're in a good position because you do not have a track record, so you do not
We
have
don't
to
have a
say,
track record.
This
But
is what
this
we
is
did
so
previously.
the policy.
However,
The policy
yeah.
is reverse the cuts to policing, reverse the cuts to youth services, refocus on a whole life progress approach, so that people starting from the earliest ages all the way through to graduation of university are given every support that the council is able to get them on track for the kind of jobs that we see in Canary Wharf, that we see in the city, that we see in the East London Tech Center. Those are the jobs that we need to be preparing our young people for, and focusing on getting them into those types of careers so that they are taking a share of
Michael, how
that opportunity.
how is your mayor candidate, if she wins, is going to do the negotiations with the developers in relation to social housing? Because Labour has failed, so has Aspire,
So I
and not
actually-
as the previous mayor.
As it turns out, the development where I live was approved under Rubina Khan when she was working on that. That developer tried to put the social housing elsewhere. This is a standard trick. They say, well, okay, we'll give you 10, 15% social housing, but it's not going to be in the good place. She insisted that it be done there. It's good social housing in a good location. She has a commitment to the community. I don't think anybody can challenge her commitment to the community.
I'll come to you.
So can I just quickly
no,
come
no,
back
no,
on the
Kabir
reversal
Hussain, I
of the
want-
police cuts, on the police
in
cuts?
terms of education, Afar.
No, not education.
no,
I want
so
to,
I-
no,
I-
hold
I
on,
have
hold
to-
on.
I have to defend.
I want to ask first
Okay,
of all,
please, yeah.
your party leader has said that he will be negotiating with the social, with the developers in terms of social housing. He will be asking for 45%. Am I right?
That should be because now
How are you
now
going
we
to
are
do that
getting
negotiations
now,
to get 45%?
now we are getting, I think, 11% something.
Yeah, between
and
11 to
because
13.
because of that, if you see the overcrowding now, it's more than 20,000, and because of that, most of the young people they're on the street. Labour they cuts everything in terms of the education.
No.
Let-
Go
let-
back.
let-
Go back to
let-
social housing. How is your party going to do that negotiations
We
by
have
getting
done before.
45% of social housing?
We have done before. We have done before, and we'll continue.
What was the percentage that you were getting?
It was 45%
before.
Yes.
And you are gonna you are certain that
we'll continue. Yes, we'll continue. In terms of the education, if you see the 380 million pound we invested in refurbishment the new Bow School, Sample School, and we invested in the children. Our youths are good.
You didn't invest that.
Yes, we invested.
You didn't invest on
We
Bow
invested.
School.
We were in power. We invested. We invested 380 million pound. We started to give education material allowance when the central government they abolished the EMA. We started mayor's education allowance, 400 pound every year, 30 pound a week, which is good for the students. We started bursary, 1,500 pound, who goes to the university. Those are the initiative we have done for the youth, youngsters. They're very good.
And those were cut.
Yes, that has been cut by under Labour, and also we invested in youth service, 10 million pound extra, Because we are
Thank
the
you.
family.
Thank
We are
you,
the
Urmee.
family. We are
I'm sure
overcrowded.
Asma would like to-
So if I can quickly come back to the
Yes.
Liberal Democrats talking about the reversal on the police cuts, and I absolutely agree. As the Labour Party, we campaigned to reverse the police cuts because we knew how many police officers we will be losing in Tower Hamlets in particular, and therefore we ended up purchasing police officers via the council. Now, why did we do that? If you support, and I didn't see you or any of the Liberal Democrats activists come and support us on that campaign when we were asking for that, and I guess you Liberal Democrats are also quite close
Asma,
to the
you have to
Conservatives
respond
as
to the
well.
education
so
question.
in terms of education,
What-
I could
No, hold
list,
on, let him
you
finish.
have spoken about, again, the youth provision. Youth provision was not fit for purpose. It did not have youth provision for our young girls within the borough. You cannot sit there and say that youth provision was the end all and the be all to
Councillor
some of
Asma,
all
can
of the
I just
issues that we're
ask you
talking
to
about.
respond?
The other thing that you were
Yeah.
talking about around the schools as well, we have invested just over £50 million into
For what?
building
For-
a new school for George Green in the island. So
Okay.
investment for
Let-
schools
let
are
me
definitely
come back.
there,
I-
and
I
they are at the
literally have
heart of
literally
a lot
Where
of
the- where the
investments-
where the EMA and
investments
bursary?
that we
Councillor
we
Where
have
the
Asma,
to
EMA
do.
and bursary
Do you
gone?
want to respond?
It is about
Do you want to
doing-
respond
it's
to the
about having a
question about
holistic approach
education
for our
maintenance
young
grant?
people?
That's
It's
why
about having a
crime
holistic
rise-
approach for our
crime
young
rise
people.
now
It's not just
everywhere
about youth
stubbing
centres, it's
because
about
of-
families
because
and
of your
children's
failure.
centres
If
as
you
well.
Because of your
speak-
failure.
Okay, thank
Because
you.
of your
You literally
failure.
have-
No, it's not.
Hold
It's
on.
not.
You literally have
Labour
30
failed
seconds.
in Tower
Sorry,
Hamlets.
hold
It's
on.
been proven.
We have
Hold on.
been investing and
Councillor
putting
Asma,
young
you literally
people
have
at
30
the
seconds.
heart of what we have been
no.
delivering.
You
A
can't-
lot of our
you
youth
can't-
provision is
you
developed
can't-
Thank
by our
you.
young
48
people.
youth
You're
centres.
losing your chance.
48 youth
It
centres.
has
You're losing your chance to respond to my question. The Labour Party stopped the
EMA.
education maintenance grant as well as the bursary
Bursary.
for the university students. Why?
Well, quite like I said right at the get-go, it's about investing in our young people.
Where-
It's about looking at what our young people need and want. And that is about having a holistic approach with our young people. It's about talking to our young people, listening to our young people, providing them services that they need. So if I talk about free school meals, how does that help and support our young
So I
people?
didn't understand.
It's about young
We
people.
started free school
sorry,
meals.
hold
We
on.
started free
Michael,
school meals.
Would your party, if come back, would your party consider bringing this education maintenance grant and bursary for the university students? Do you believe that these are necessary supports that young people would need?
If that was the best way to invest that money to have a successful outcome, we would definitely support that. But our party
Thank
is
you.
absolutely evidence-based. We want to see
We'll
that
come back.
we'll get value for money.
দর্শক ছোট্ট বিজ্ঞাপন বিরতির পর ফিরে আসছে, আমাদের সঙ্গে থাকুন। ধন্যবাদ যারা এইমাত্র আজকের আলাপচারিতার সঙ্গে যোগ দিলেন। আমরা কথা বলছি মে 2022 কাউন্সিল নির্বাচন নিয়ে। তবে অবশ্যই আমাদের আজকের ফোকাস রয়েছে লন্ডন বরো অফ টাওয়ার হ্যামলেটসের উপরে, যেখানে বাঙালি অধ্যুষিত এলাকা বলে এই এলাকার নির্বাচন নিয়ে আমরা বরাবরই উৎসাহিত থাকি, উৎসুক থাকি কি হচ্ছে লন্ডন বরো অফ টাওয়ার হ্যামলেটসে। কথা বলবার জন্য যথারীতি এ পর্বেও রাজনীতিবিদরাই রয়েছেন। গত 2 পর্ব থেকে রয়েছে মাইকেল রবিনসন ফ্রম লিবডেম, কাউন্সিলর ক্যান্ডিডেট, কবির হোসেন ফ্রম অ্যাসপায়ার কাউন্সিলর ক্যান্ডিডেট, এবং এ পর্বে যোগ দিয়েছেন কাউন্সিলর কাহার চৌধুরী ফ্রম লেবার। And welcome to the show. We'll start with Michael. Michael, you, in terms of mayoral candidate, you have a Bangladeshi British mayoral candidate,
Yes.
female.
Yes.
But at the same time, I mean, obviously we welcome Lib Dems that decision that, you know, you have chosen not only a female from a BAME community, so that's really positive. But at the same time, in mainstream politics, Lib Dem has actually gone to a sideline now. You do not have a stand, you do not have the confidence of, generally speaking, in terms of people of Great Britain, and that's why your party is not holding that kind of position, especially in Tower Hamlets for the last couple of years. What is it that in your manifesto you will be saying to the people of Tower Hamlets in terms of the main challenges of Tower Hamlets, housing, education, antisocial behavior, and you know, children and adult care? What are the main, if I say main 3 points that you would be putting in your manifesto to attract people of Tower Hamlets to have that confidence on your party?
Okay, so I would challenge you. Yes, after the, I think, admittedly disastrous coalition with the Tories, the Liberal Democrat Party sunk to a very low position, but we've been on the way up. We've had very good success in parliamentary by-elections, 36-point swing, 39-point swing, taking seats off of the Tories. We have gained 16 council seats nationwide in elections in the last by-elections in the last year. There is the Liberal Democrats are very strong at the council level because, unlike the Tories, unlike Labour, it's a bottom-up party. So it's a federal party. Each local party is responsible for its own policies. It's not told what to do.
But you don't have a good track record in Tower Hamlets, though.
It's a new party. You know, we have in this election partnered with Rabina Khan and a number of other very experienced politicians. I personally, in Whitechapel, am running with Abdul Assad, who is 28 years a councillor, with Amr Khan, 10 years a councillor. We have formed ties with the community.
Okay, so three main points that needs to be in your manifesto that would attract or give the confidence of Tower Hamlets, people of Tower Hamlets.
We are going to, as we said earlier, change the priorities to invest in the youth services and the community policing to make it a place where people feel safe and where young people have a place to go and get the support that they need for success.
Are you planning to buy additional police officers on the street with what? Where are you going to get the money?
The council has money that it's keeping in reserve. There are other priorities that the council has. Some of the cuts that they've made in services have been beneficial to other parts of the budget.
Like? What part of services will you be considering to cut or shorten? Just 1 second. দর্শক কে রয়েছেন আমাদের সঙ্গে লাইনে?
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah, assalamualaikum, sister. Yeah, thank you for letting me in, actually. First of all, I'd like to say thanks to all the candidates, and especially to the Labour candidates, because I personally think Labour has done so much for our community in the Tower Hamlets, especially recently after what we have seen with the Root Food team. And so, just one question to the Aspire candidate. Can you just tell me, why did Lutfu didn't go to appeal after he was found convicted for his fraud and allegation of from his last election? So why didn't he appeal? If you think he was innocent, why didn't he go to appeal? And I think it's shameful if we have
Thank you, sir.
shameful to have him again.
There's no room for comment here. Just we have taken your question. I think the question was, why didn't he appeal? I'll come back to you. So let Michael finish your point, Michael.
So
3 points.
Yes. We have the Livable Streets initiative was badly
We will continue with the Livable Streets
So
initiative?
we have so there was only one place in Tower Hamlets where Livable Streets was rolled out without community backlash, and that was in Shadwell Ward. Urbina believes very much in engaging with the community, making sure that the community supports things that the government is doing on its behalf. This is the main thing that we are offering, is that a real engagement, a real consultation with the community, not a box-ticking exercise, which is the usual case with policies in under the Labour administration.
Thank you. Let me come to you, Kahe Chaudhry. So, in terms of obviously, we are really grateful to the council for bringing in the Bangladeshi sign or signs in Bengali in terms of Taha, in terms of Whitechapel Station. We have seen the gates, we have seen lights, the 50 years celebration of independence, and we are really grateful to the council for that. But there are allegations that all these were done as part of election politics. We literally did it right at the point where you're going for election. And do you believe that this is actually part of the election politics, or this is really done for the people of Tower Hamlets?
Yeah, I disagree. I disagree with those allegations, because I'll tell you why. The 50th celebration started quite a while back, and the community organised, councillors organised, everybody organised. But preparing for it, we had a working group, and various issues came up. So the Brick Lane Gate was fairly, old, and we could do it with the makeup, and that's why it's had one, with the signage and so on.
So the timing of it has got nothing to do with it?
No, not to do with the election, because like I say, there was a working group working on various initiatives that would bolster the celebration of the 50th Bangladeshi independence. And London Eye was lit up. There was various celebrations across the land and various initiatives embedded within that. And there's a huge demand within the community for that to happen.
My question to Rachel Blake at the first segment was that, considering the world is actually going through a significant crisis in terms of food crisis, in terms of post-Brexit, post-COVID, and now the Ukraine war, how is Tower Hamlets Labour Party going to face all these challenges when your party is in opposition and you have suffered in terms of challenges getting the grant from the central government? Because obviously central government will favour the council that is being held by their own party, i.e. if you would have been Conservative Party, you possibly would have had less challenges. So all these years, when Labour Party has been in power, you have faced challenges to get the right amount of central government grant. So when people of Tower Hamlets are even in a much worse condition because food banks are growing, increasing in the numbers, how we are going to face that challenge as a council?
Yeah, as you point out, there's multitudes of problems, and the way we are looking at it in a holistic way of addressing and easing that cost of living crisis. So it's through 100% council tax reduction for those who need it, providing food support, providing deliveries, and we've worked through our communities and community organizations, creating food hubs, providing free school meals as well as part of that, and having a policy in place so for future years that we have these provisions available that will help, and having various initiatives that policies that we have that will help our residents get through that. So for energy, we've allocated money for that, for those who need it, council tax reduction. This our portion of council tax, we have frozen it.
Do you see Aspire as a challenge?
We don't. Because,
why not?
Because we are very confident the work that the mayor and this administration and the Labour Party have done and in Tower Hamlets has been progressive policies that we've built, 2,000 council homes.
What Aspire is claiming that they were able to make much better negotiations with developers in relation to social housing, what Aspire used to provide is education maintenance allowance. They used to provide bursary to students going to university. They used to have 55 police officers on the bid on the street. You have reduced it to 6. You have introduced adult charges, adult care charges, which Aspire didn't have at that time. So with all these negative track records, you're still not seeing Aspire as a challenge?
No, we do not. We do not see them, and we have a majority in Tower Hamlets and working hard, because I'm very confident, because we're working hard for our residents and our local businesses. We supported them through the pandemic, and we continue to support them.
So you disagree with the voters of Weavers'
Working
Ward?
hard for pay rise for themselves. That's it.
Okay, so
Nothing else. Nothing
sorry,
else.
Michael put a question to you. So you lost, Labour Party lost in Weaversfield. Why do you think that was?
There could be a variety of reasons, and it's a by-election, and there can be a variety of reasons, and one of them is predominantly that came up on the doorstep was livable streets. So that we are reviewing, and we are looking at how we can make it
So you
workable.
accept that Labour Party has wasted 29 million pounds?
No, we haven't wasted it. We're looking at how we balance environmental policies with the needs of our residents and with their livelihoods.
But people
No,
of
we haven't
Weaversfield
wasted the money.
People of
There's various
Weaversfield
initiatives. You've heard the Shadwell one has worked extremely well. The Poplar one is coming forward in the future years. There's various other initiatives that
okay,
we've consulted
Kabir
our
Hussain,
residents
so
on.
one caller question, why didn't Mr. Rahman appeal against that decision?
Okay,
the
first of
decision
all-
that was made in the civil court, election court.
Okay, so that wasn't a judgment; it was a report. A report. Okay, so in the civil court or any English law, so there is a system. So if you go to jail, go to High Court or go to Supreme Court, you have to have the money and pay for it. Okay, so he is not convicted, he is not fraud, there is no criminality. If he was convicted, he should find. If he was convicted, he should go to jail. There is nothing.
But he was banned from coming back to politics for 5 years.
That was a report by commissioner, not a judge. He wasn't a judge.
No, but why didn't he appeal?
Okay, it's a money matter, because in the civil court, if you go to upper level, jail, so you have to have money. He hasn't got money.
Okay, so my next question to you would be, in terms of your manifesto,
Yep.
you're promising that you will be able to negotiate 45% of social housing. You are saying, your party is saying that you'll bring back this allowance,
Yep.
the bursaries. You're going to increase the youth center again to 48, which
Yep.
is, I believe the current number is 8,
Yeah.
something like
12.
that.
Yes. 8.
12. Okay.
Well, depending on how you count,
8
the hours
clubs.
are reduced.
Eight
Okay,
youth clubs.
so you're planning to increase it to 48, and you're going to abandon the charge for adult care. How realistic is it when Aspire, being a party since 2018, a party since 2018, where whether you accept it or not, the leadership is highly challenged, and you are actually saying to young people or people of Tower Hamlets that actually do not join mainstream political parties, make yourself isolated,
Okay.
and join a party that only belongs to Tower Hamlets.
No, we are not saying.
So what kind of aspiration are you actually giving to the people who want to join into politics?
The people of this great borough have spoken in last election. If you see the referendum, all the major 4 parties, they got 17,000 votes, and only we, Aspire, we got 63,000 votes in the referendum. Who are the opposed?
But that was in relation to keeping mayoral system.
Yeah, that's right. Because
You didn't get that vote.
Yeah.
It was about the
the
system.
people,
limited
yes.
to the
So we
Aspire
we
party.
campaign
Yeah,
for
but then
the
do
yes.
not mislead people
No,
saying
So
you had
we are the
60,000.
people. We are the people. We are the Aspire people. We campaign to keep the mayoral system because we believe in the system. They doesn't believe in the system because they are worried about Lutfur Rahman because he's coming back. He got the record. He got the track record. He delivered, and we'll continue what his legacy in 2010 to 2015. He left over the legacies. We'll continue all the services. We believe in investment.
Okay.
We believe in education. We believe in youth service because they are our assets.
Good. Thank you. We have to finish because literally 30 seconds. Michael, what would be your concluding remarks for our viewers who are, I'm sure they are residents of Tower Hamlets?
Yes.
What would be
the politics of Tower Hamlets over the past 15 to 20 years have been very chaotic. The chaos, I think, comes down to one issue, and that's that the Labour Party has consistently, time and time again, failed to represent the community, and the community has always been looking for other places. They looked for George Galloway, they looked for Lutfer Rahman, they look for any kind of leadership because they're not getting that representation from the Labour Party, and I think that's unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate that all of these things that you've said about Lutfer Rahman, he's still a very, very strong contender against the Labour mayor. And they know that. They're working very hard to keep him from on the ballot because they're afraid that if he's on the ballot, Mayor Biggs is going to lose. And I think that Tower Hamlets deserves better politics than this.
Thank you. Kabir Chaudhry, your concluding remarks.
30
seconds.
Okay,
yes.
So I believe in investment. We'll invest in education, we'll invest in youth service, we'll take back all the frontline services, whatever the Labour cuts in last 6-7 years. We'll freeze council tax again. It was 5.2% under Lutfur Rahman, now 29%.
Thank you.
We believe in investment in our community, no cards.
Thank you, investment. Okay.
Yeah, the Aspire Party have this this fanciful
what you're going to say to our viewers?
We delivered.
Yes. So we have a strong track record of delivery for the past 7 years in Tower Hamlets. We've delivered for the people. We've navigated through the pandemic together as a community, as a one East End. We are fighting your corner. Please vote Labour on the 5th of May.
দর্শক, আমাদের আজকের অনুষ্ঠানের সময়সীমা একেবারেই শেষ। আগামী 5ই মে 2022 লন্ডন বরো অফ টাওয়ার হ্যামলেটসে শুধু নয়, ইংল্যান্ড জুড়ে এই নির্বাচন, কাউন্সিল নির্বাচন অনুষ্ঠিত হবে। তবে আমাদের বক্তব্য থাকবে, আপনারা ভোটার হিসেবে নিজেদের চোখ কান খোলা রেখে বিবেচনা করে ভোট দেবেন যোগ্য প্রার্থীকে, এবং যেই প্রার্থী আপনার জন্য, আপনার সমাজের জন্য কাজ করবে। আজকের মতন বিদায় নিচ্ছি। আগামী সোমবারের আলাপচারিতা দেখবার আমন্ত্রণ রইল, এবং থ্যাংক ইউ টু মাই প্যানেল মেম্বার্স। থ্যাংক ইউ মাইকেল রবিনসন। আই উইশ ইউ অল দ্য বেস্ট। কাউন্সিলর কাহিদ Chaudhry, again all the best for your election, and again Kabir Hussain, all the best, and all the best wishes to all my 3 panel members. দর্শক, বিদায় নিচ্ছি আজকের মতন। শুভরাত্রি।